Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Arjun Chaudhary. Here on the top story that tracking for you on Thursday, the 3rd of September. Ex-servicemen in India intensify protest for uniform pension. Won't withdraw resignation of lawmakers, says MQM. And political and spiritual leaders come together at global Hindu Buddhist conclave. And now for all the details. Indian Army veterans are continuing their protest demanding one rank, one pension. The government has hinted that a solution which is acceptable to all will be announced soon.
As the Army veterans continue with their protest for over a month, sources indicate that the government might announce the implementation of the scheme within a few weeks. The veterans have begun a fast run to death to pressurize the government.
क्योंकि अंतिम पैर है, अंतिम कदम है ये। इस चरण में जाने के लिए आदमी को बहुत साहस जुटाना पड़ता है और जब चारों तरफ से उसका बिल्कुल सोर्स नील हो जाता है, उसको ये उम्मीद लगती है कि अब कहीं से कोई नहीं होगा, तो हमको ऐसा उम्मीद लग रहा है कि अब हमारी मांग पूरी शायद ना हो, इसकी वजह से हम ये कदम उठा रहे हैं।
One rank, one pension has been a long-standing demand of the Indian military personnel. The opposition, however, said the Modi-led government has failed to fulfill its promise.
In fact, he said that between 15 to 20 days of his coming, OROP would be sanctioned. He fooled the millions of ex-servicemen in this country. And I would really ask to know whether the question that what is an unreasonable demand, the finance minister should first ask the Prime Minister. It's the Prime Minister who's actually accepted unreasonable demands, not the government.
One rank, one pension refers to a uniform pension to Defence Forces personnel retiring in the same rank with the same length of service, irrespective of their date of retirement. If implemented, the scheme will benefit close to 3 million defence pensioners and 600,000 war widows.
4 militants were killed in an encounter with security forces at Handwara in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir on Thursday. One soldier has also been killed in the gun battle. The encounter started after army and police personnel launched an operation late on Wednesday. This is the third major encounter between militants and security forces in Jammu and Kashmir in the past 1 week. Staying on with the news from India. The 4-month deadlock over the purchase of Rafale fighter jets from France seems to have ended, with the Indian side deciding on acquiring 36 fighter aircraft.
It was in April this year in Paris that Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced India's intention to buy 36 Rafale fighter jets from France. However, the deal ran into rough weather over India's insistence on having an offset clause requiring France to invest at least 30 to 50% of the value of the contract locally for manufacturing and sourcing of components. India also wanted France to lower the price per aircraft, now at $200 million. Now close to 5 months after Mr. Modi's announcements, India's Defence Acquisition Committee has given the go-ahead to proceed to end-stage negotiations. This signals that the deadlock on price and offset clause have likely been removed.
It's a very fine aircraft. It's a new aircraft. And we need this. We need this. And I think it's a very good deal. And if we make in India and very fast we start, I think we'll come on the top.
Military planners are concerned over India's depleted functional fighter squadrons. Of the 580 fighter jets in the Indian Air Force fleet of aging Soviet MiGs, nearly 40% is slated to be phased out. Experts say that even with the purchase of Rafale fighters, the national security requirement is not complete.
It is a positive sign for the Indian Air Force, which is looking for replacing its aging fleet. And therefore, it's a good decision taken by the government. I think it's a prolonged negotiations. They've gone on little more than expected, but it's a major breakthrough.
Military modernization and fast-tracking of defence acquisitions were part of the Modi government's priorities when it took office last year, an extension of the new administration's more muscular foreign and security policies. However, this doesn't seem to have got off the ground with the speed that was expected.
Moving on to a neighbouring country. Bangladesh police have named 5 members of the banned militant outfit Ansarullah Bangla team in the charge sheet filed in the Wasikur Rahman murder case. Secular activist and a progressive writer, Rahman was hacked to death on March 30 by the assailants. The detective branch of police also said that at least 8 people were involved in the murder, out of which details of 3 people were not found yet. The 3 would be named in the supplementary charge sheet, said the police. Earlier, Human Rights Watch had urged Bangladesh government to ensure the freedom of expression and the prosecution of those targeting liberal voices in the country. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, the Muttahida Qawmi movement on Thursday said the resignation of its lawmakers will not be withdrawn. Accusing the Nawaz Sharif government of not being serious on the talks, the party also said it won't hold any more negotiations. The party had last month simultaneously resigned from the National Assembly, Senate and the Sindh Assembly, accusing the security forces of targeting its activists. The government, which refused to accept the resignations, had formed a committee to hold negotiations with the MQM leadership. The MQM is a secular political party in Pakistan that represents the Urdu-speaking migrants from India in 1947 on the creation of Pakistan. India's Samajwadi Party on Thursday announced its decision to walk out of the Grand Janata Parivar Alliance and fight the upcoming Bihar elections on its own.
The Samajwadi Party announced the decision to pull out of the alliance, stating that the decision was made in respect to the wishes of the party's workers in the eastern province. The Mulayam Singh-led Samajwadi Party had formed the Grand Alliance with Janata Dal United or JDU, Rashtriya Janata Dal or RJD, the Congress Party and other small parties early this year to counter the Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP, whose campaign is being led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
ये जो था कि पार्टी 2 सीटों पर लड़ेगी, 5 सीटों पर लड़ेगी, उससे पार्टी का न नेतृत्व सहमत था, न पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता सहमत थे और ख़ास तौर से बिहार की पार्टी उससे बिल्कुल सहमत नहीं। तो बिहार की पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं की भावनाओं का सम्मान करते हुए पार्टी ने एक सम्मानजनक तरीके से अपने बलबूते पर चुनाव लड़ने का फैसला ले लिया है।
This comes as the election battle in Bihar is heating up, with the BJP and the ruling JDU trading barb against one another. While the BJP, who is in power at the centre, is eyeing to win the elections in the province as well, Bihar's Chief Minister Nitish Kumar is hoping for a 3rd consecutive term under the Janata Parivar Alliance.
New Delhi on Thursday hosted Samvad, the global Hindu Buddhist initiative. The conclave was attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, former Sri Lankan President Chandrika Kumaratunga and various spiritual leaders and scholars. The forum focused on conflict avoidance, environment consciousness and dialogue. The 3 days of the symposium will witness discussions on the way towards peace, conflict resolution and green world. Lord Buddha had gained enlightenment in India's Bodh Gaya, thereafter giving the world tenets of Buddhism. Journalists in Pakistan-administered Kashmir are increasingly concerned about the suppression of media at the hands of Islamabad. Those who do not toe the government line are gagged, say reporters.
Silencing free speech and government-controlled censorship is still the trend in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Journalists here claim that Pakistan government officials harass local media houses who try to report the realities of the region.
हुकूमतों का ये शुरू दिन से जो है एक शेवा रहा है कि जो उनके हक में लिखता है उनको तो वो इश्तिहारात की भरमार करते हैं और जो जेन्युइन अवामी मसाइल जो हैं उजागर करते हैं तो उनको ज़ेर एताब रखने के लिए हुकूमत जो है इश्तिहारात को रोक के जो है वो अखबारात को ज़ेर एताब बनाती है.
Journalists in Pakistan-administered Kashmir say they are under pressure to file slanted stories.
बजट है भी तो वो अपने मनपसंद अखबारात को दिया जाता है, उन अखबारात को दिया जाता है जो हुकूमती पॉलिसी के मुताबिक चलें और हुकूमती पॉलिसी के मुताबिक वही अखबारात चलते हैं जो अवामी राय को बुलडोज करते हैं.
Pakistan-administered Kashmir, which was illegally occupied by Islamabad, remains a region with no freedoms.
Meanwhile, in India, former Star India CEO Peter Mukherjee, whose wife Indrani is an accused in the Sheena Bora murder case, denied being in the country when the incident happened.
Media honcho Peter Mukherjee, who was questioned by Mumbai police for 12 hours on Wednesday, denied being in India when Sheena Bora was killed. Apart from questioning about his wife Indrani's relation with Sheena, Peter was quizzed on financial matters of the family to deduce a possible money angle into the murder. Police also suspects that the car used to dump Sheena's body was hired by him. 24-year-old Bora was allegedly killed by Indrani with the help of her second husband Sanjeev Khanna and driver in 2012.
Grew up here, so she was always here. I mean, maybe I last saw her around 2010-11. After that, she just dropped from the scene.
Sheena was Indrani's daughter from her first husband Siddharth Das. She has been married to Mukherjee since 2002 and co-founded INX Media with him.
The mismatch between demand and supply has hit the automobile market in India. The manufacturers have an uphill task for sustaining its growth. A report.
Demand for cars is accelerating in India, but not all manufacturers are celebrating. Overall sales grew 17% in July, with market leaders Maruti and Hyundai speeding ahead with an 11% increase. But demand for cars made by global manufacturers like General Motors, Nissan and Renault has stalled. They reported a double-digit decline, have a huge unsold inventory and are cutting jobs and output. Experts point to a mismatch between demand and supply.
Overall demand genuinely isn't growing as much as it should, and just a few manufacturers and a few segments are really growing, and that's sort of, let's say, not giving a true picture of what is really happening at the ground level. In fact, a lot of manufacturers are struggling. New models are launched, they have a very brief honeymoon period, so to speak, and then that novelty factor wears off, and again you have rampant discounts in the market. So overall it's a very much a push market. There's no pull in the market that's attracting buyers.
Even though recent figures are mixed, experts say low fuel prices and possible interest rate cuts by the central bank could support demand.
For the second half, it's expected that close to 7% will come for the entire industry. This is expected because second half is seasonally the better part for the industry, and last year the base was low. The growth was not so much. So hence 7% is expected, but it is still dependent on three major factors. One is fuel prices. Right now the prices are low, so it's good for the industry. If any interest rate cuts would come in future, that would be a positive. And if the monsoons are even better than what they are right now, that would again help them.
Even demand stays steady, auto manufacturers have their tasks cut out. Limited dealership network and poor after-sales services are areas of concern. The road ahead is bumpy if India wants to be the third largest manufacturer of cars by 2020. Nidhi Rai, South Asia Newsline, Mumbai.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Ex-servicemen in India intensify protests for uniform pension. Won't withdraw resignation of lawmakers, says MQM. Political and spiritual leaders come together at Global Hindu Buddhist conclave. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter at SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.